unraveling her family's dark secret in her boyfriend's death. In March 2022, in an alley behind Lindy's Diner in downtown Albuquerque, tragedy struck when 16-year-old Josue Ruiz was shot dead. This story is not just an ordinary murder case but a complex family tragedy with dark secrets and heartbreaking consequences. Around 11:20 a.m. on that fateful day, witnesses at the scene described a shocking sight: two young men who appeared to be preparing to fight when suddenly a gunshot rang out. One person lay bleeding on the ground, while the other, not holding a gun, quickly fled. Police quickly arrived at the scene, collecting statements from multiple witnesses. They discovered the victim was wearing an apron, suggesting he might be an employee of the nearby Lindy's Diner. Indeed, the victim was identified as Josue Ruiz, also known as Jay, a 16-year-old high school student working part-time at the restaurant. Witnesses described seeing a yellow or golden brown vehicle, apparently an old sedan, leaving the scene after the shooting occurred. Some people also described seeing a group of young people, including someone wearing a high school graduation gown, running from the scene. Police notified Johnny Montoya, Ruiz's grandfather. Montoya had raised Ruiz and was a regular customer at Lindy's Diner. He expressed grief and confusion, saying that Ruiz seemed like a good kid but might have gotten involved in something. Important information emerged when Montoya revealed to police that Ruiz had just informed him he was about to become a great-grandfather. Ruiz's girlfriend, Elizabeth Baldonado, was pregnant. This made investigators wonder if teenage pregnancy could have created enough tension to lead to this murder. Investigators went to Montoya's apartment to speak with Elizabeth Baldonado. The young woman, grieving the loss of her boyfriend, said she had been in contact with Ruiz via Facebook Messenger that morning. His last message was sent around 11:11 a.m., just minutes before the shooting occurred. During the conversation, Baldonado revealed crucial information. She said her brother Angelo Baldonado and Ruiz had planned to fight that morning. "My brother and him didn't get along. They had conflicts with each other. But my brother would never do this. He knows how I feel about Jay," she said. When examining messages between Ruiz and Baldonado from the previous day, investigators discovered something shocking. It wasn't Ruiz or Angelo who had planned the fight, but Baldonado's mother, 49-year-old Elizabeth Ortiz Chavez, who had arranged the confrontation. Investigators spoke with Angelo Baldonado, who was working at Slapfish Restaurant, about a 10-minute drive from the crime scene. Angelo admitted that he planned to fight Ruiz because Ruiz had hit his sister. But ultimately the fight didn't happen. He claimed he had spent most of the day with his mother, who had helped him get around in her four-door sedan. A suspicious detail emerged when police interviewed Chavez. She claimed her yellow Toyota had broken down that morning. Investigators wondered if this was really why she left the car, or if there was a darker reason. When investigators confronted Chavez, she repeatedly changed her story about where she had been at the time of the murder. She denied any involvement in the shooting, insisting, "No, I didn't do that. He was just a kid. A baby." Investigators collected security footage from several areas near the crime scene, including surveillance cameras from Lindy's Diner and cameras from neighboring shops. One important video captured the moment after the gunshot. A yellow sedan, identical to Elizabeth Ortiz Chavez's car, appeared in the frame and quickly left the scene. Camera images showed that around 11:20 a.m., two figures appeared in the alley, seemingly arguing or preparing to fight. One of them, identified as Josue Ruiz, was wearing a restaurant apron, indicating he had just left his shift or was on break. Just seconds later, a flash from a gun, and Ruiz collapsed to the ground. Another person immediately ran from the scene, while the yellow sedan slid through the camera frame, disappearing at the end of the alley. Additionally, another camera, positioned on a main road not far away, captured this car continuing to move westward, toward the residential area where the Baldonado family lived. Data from the city's traffic system also showed a similar vehicle caught by a red light camera less than 10 minutes after the shooting. Although there were no clear images of who fired the shot, evidence from surveillance cameras strengthened police suspicions about Elizabeth Ortiz Chavez's role in the case. This also helped investigators connect Chavez's inconsistent statements with the car's journey, increasing pressure on her to face the truth. In the weeks following the shooting, Albuquerque police obtained search warrants for several mobile phones, including Angelo Baldonado's. They discovered that Angelo's phone had been located in the alley at the exact time Josue was killed. Messages between Ruiz and his girlfriend led investigators to believe that the plan from the beginning was for Angelo Baldonado to bring a weapon to the fight. In one message, Ruiz wrote, "I know they better not jump me because I'll have Darnie come watch just in case." When asked who Darnie was, he explained it was his friend, Donovan. Elizabeth Baldonado replied, "I'll be there too, because I don't want anything like them pulling out guns." Realizing Baldonado might know more than she revealed, investigators brought her to the station for formal questioning on March 23. During the interrogation, Baldonado denied any wrongdoing by her family, despite facing evidence from her own phone. "You're upsetting me. You're telling me my family did it when I know they didn't. My mom understands that if anything happened to him, I would never speak to any of them again," Baldonado defended, clearly torn between love for her deceased boyfriend and loyalty to her family. The turning point in the case came in May 2023. More than a year after Josue Ruiz's death, Gilbert Ortiz Chavez, Elizabeth Ortiz Chavez's eldest son, revealed the truth that investigators had been seeking all along. In a message, Gilbert wrote, "Why is my brother locked up? Because my mom and him went to beat up my sister's boyfriend because he hit her. And when he got there, my sister's boyfriend tried to pull out a gun but he got shot before he could pull it out." A forensic analyst obtained these messages, and that was the end for Elizabeth Ortiz Chavez. Although no documentation confirmed Ruiz was carrying a gun that day, the rest of the story was confirmed by Angelo Baldonado, who on March 25, 2023, finally decided not to take the blame alone for his mother's crime. Elizabeth Ortiz Chavez was charged with murder on May 5, 2023. She pleaded guilty and now faces up to 18 years in prison. If given the maximum sentence, she will be 68 years old when released. The sentencing date has not yet been set. Angelo Baldonado is serving a 4-year sentence at the Bernalillo County Juvenile Detention Center. He will be 21 when released. According to a social media post from November 2022, Elizabeth Baldonado gave birth to a son, her child with the late Josue Ruiz. This child will grow up without a father. A tragic legacy of this heartbreaking murder. This case is a painful reminder of how violence and wrong decisions can profoundly affect multiple generations. A 16-year-old young man lost his life, leaving his unborn child fatherless. A mother faces years in prison, separated from her children. Another young man is bearing the consequences of impulsive actions. Behind all this is a family tragedy, toxic relationships, poor communication, wrong approaches to conflict resolution, and the decision to protect family honor through violence rather than seeking appropriate help. Josue Ruiz's death is not just the loss of a young life. It's also the loss of potential, unfulfilled dreams, and an intact family for the child about to be born. This tragedy emphasizes the importance of seeking peaceful conflict resolution, as well as the unpredictable consequences of letting emotions lead to violent actions.